Alright, in this video we're going to talk about 3 keys to prospecting success. Now, in the old days when we talked about prospecting, we were talking about something like this. And no, I'm not talking about a guy smoking a cigar with his dog. I'm talking about panning for gold. In fact, this is why that guy is called the prospector. And don't worry, not everybody who prospects is a possessive maniac trying to manipulate people into a museum. Now, in the olden days, when we talk about prospecting for gold, there are really 3 main keys to success. The first was looking in the right place. If you weren't looking in the right place for gold, it doesn't matter how effective you were or how much you panned, you would never find gold. The next step was to be able to filter effectively, to be able to understand how to swirl the sediment in your pan to make sure you were finding the gold that was actually there. And then lastly, once you had those 2 things down, if you're looking in the right place and you knew the right techniques and you knew how to filter effectively, then it was just a matter of the more you panned, the more gold you were going to get. Now, a lot has changed from the olden version of prospecting to today's sales prospecting, but a few things are very similar. First off, in both cases, we're trying to make money. We're trying to find ways to be more effective at making money. And also, those 3 keys to success still carry over to sales prospecting. You need to be able to look in the right place. You need to be able to know where your customers are and how to find them. Next, you need to be able to filter effectively in order to make sure you're spending time with the right customers. And lastly, once you have those 2 things down, it's all about volume. How many people can I see? How many people can I talk to? And if you're looking in the right place and you filter effectively, the more people you talk to, the more sales you're going to make. So let's talk about each of these one at a time. First off, knowing where to look. In knowing where to look, you need to be able to understand who are your customers? Who are the people who are actually going to buy the stuff you're looking for? Next, you need to know where can you find them? How can you get in front of them? What kind of things can you do to get their attention? And lastly, how do they buy products and services like yours? When they're interested in solving a problem that you solve, where do they go so that you make sure you're there when they're ready to buy? Next, you need to be able to filter effectively. And in the book Selling the Profession by Lil and Lil, we read about the Madden Test. And no, I'm not talking about the football commentator, but hopefully understanding the Madden acronym can help you remember all of the things you need to be filtering your customers on. So Madden stands for, first, money. Can your customer afford what you have to sell? Next, are they approachable? Can you actually get in front of that person and have an appointment and speak to them? Do they have a desire for what you're selling? Are they a decision maker? If this is something that they want, do they actually have the authority to say, yes, I want to buy your product? Are they eligible for your product? Does your product fit their situation? And lastly, need. Is this solving a problem that they have? A lot of times when we go through the Madden test, people get a little confused about, okay, but what's the difference between a need, a desire, and eligibility? And so let me walk you through an example that will hopefully clarify that for you. So let's say I'm really burned out and I need a break. Okay, we could say I need a vacation. Now, when we talk about a vacation, there are a lot of different options. You could go up in a secluded cabin up in the mountains. You could go skiing. You could go on a road trip. You could go to the beach. Okay, so there are a lot of different ways to solve a particular need. Now, this is where desire comes in. When we start talking about desire, now we're starting to incorporate your customer's preferences. So let's say that even though I need a vacation and there are a lot of different ways to fill that need, let's say I would really like to go on a cruise, okay? That's desire. Last, we need to think about eligibility. Now, every cruise is not going to be appropriate for every individual. So for myself, as a married guy with 4 kids, a singles cruise is not going to fit the bill. However, a Disney cruise probably would. So in addition to having a need, that is a problem to solve, and desire, meaning I want something, we also need to make sure that the product and the customer actually fit well. Lastly, once we've made sure we're looking in the right place and we're filtering our prospects effectively, now what we need to make sure we're doing is increasing the volume. So you can think of the number of cells in an equation like this. The number of cells you're going to make equals how many people you talk to multiplied by the percentage of those people who actually buy. So the first two really help us with that second part, increasing the percentage of the people we talk to who actually buy. But once we have that down, now we really need to make sure we're just spending more time talking to more people. And if we do that, the more people we talk to, the more sales we're going to make. So just to summarize everything, keys to prospecting success. First off, make sure you're looking in the right place. Second, make sure you are filtering effectively. And third, once you have those first two down, really pump up the volume.